Congratulations, you now get to be the first and probably only apprentice to actually have two live critiques for level 4 because Google was not on par today.
Awesome. I have two.
So
Okay.
double points for you. So, okay, so let's go back to the idea that you're going to school and let's revisit that because I was losing what you were saying.
Okay. So I am almost finished. I've got, I don't know, like 11 weeks left. So basically I'll just have a bachelor's degree in visual arts and photo media. It's mainly for the art world though. It's like gallery artists, and it's not really like commercial photography or anything like that. And that's where I'd prefer to be going. I can't go back and study again. I'm just going to have to teach myself and obviously learn from the Arcanum and network myself as well.
Okay, well, you know, I am a big fan for learning, but that does not mean that I'm necessarily advocating for that to be in a university or college environment. I don't personally learn that way. I have a really tough time sitting in a classroom, you know, doing the same thing the other 25 worker bees are doing that the last 5 classes for the last 5 years have done, because that is what all of us need. I think everybody needs to learn differently, which is part of why I really, really love the Arcanum, because I feel like even though we're in this environment where there's, you know, 20 of us, that it's still very personalized and everybody gets to learn the way they learn, and I get to interact with each of you differently, which I think is super essential. That said too, when I decided to be a photographer, I didn't take any class. I've never taken a class on photography. I just started picking people that I admired and following them and learning what I could from them. And I have learned more in one afternoon with people that I consider mentors and masters than I know I would have in an entire year if I had been going, you know, to school for it necessarily. So I definitely don't think that any other direction that you want to venture into that wasn't something you were trained for is somehow off limits until you go to school for it. I think that you'll learn more hands-on, and most of it is transferable anyway. But that said, a lot of the work that you're doing looks like work that should be hanging in galleries and isn't necessarily client work. So ideally, if I could do the fairy godmother thing and snap my fingers and give you what you're after, what does that look like for you?
It looks like, do you want me to tell you what I want to be professionally?
Sure, we can start there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'd like to be a photographer that gets, well, basically just a commercial photographer that gets asked to do fashion shoots, beauty shoots. I wouldn't mind going into retouching just a bit on the side as well. I'd be happy to do that because I'm fine sitting at a computer and editing work. But, I mean, I have a little bit of trouble with motivating myself to do these things because I am a little bit of an introvert, so it's effort for me to go out and, you know, organize shoots and organize a lot of people and have to be on all the time to, you know, really make sure that everyone is comfortable and I, you know, I seem friendly with them, you know, that sort of thing. I mean, that's what photography is basically. You can do it by yourself if you want to, if your art is that way, but I would prefer to be, a commercial photographer with, you know, big studio shots, that sort of thing.
Okay, so are you interested in having clients that are telling you this is what we're after, go photograph this and make it happen, so that you're really playing photographer and letting somebody else do the art directing and the organizing? Is that? kind of.
That would be okay, but I would have to do my own stuff on the side as well to keep myself happy. Like I would create my own shoots and possibly have clients where I get to be a director as well.
Okay, so are you interested in doing shoots where the person that is shooting is the client rather than a corporate client, as long as you're getting to create these kind of images that have this sort of art gallery fantasy kind of feel to them?
Yeah, I would be happy with that. Although I don't think I'd be working on art gallery stuff at all. I'm just hearing my lecturers in my head now, and they're basically saying that my stuff is not art gallery stuff. But they,
Who's
yeah,
saying?
I would. Oh, my lecturers. They're very. It's a different world, the art world. But
They are not the ones necessarily at the door to the gallery, and their opinions don't matter. So, I have you. I mean, really, like, have you ever been to the art museum and seen the canvas painted entirely red that's valued at $8 million, like that my 2-year-old does more detail than? And but somebody sees
yes,
value in it. Like your work is beautiful and there's a market for it, period. And shame on your lecturers and your teachers if they're saying otherwise. Like,
yeah, they're more about concept. Um, I mean, even that red painting, like Mark Rothko's stuff like that. It's only colors, but his concept is pretty deep. And I don't really like that side of the art world. I mean, I do like concept, but having to know the concept before you actually get the artwork is not my thing. But I would be happy to have clients who like paying clients who are the ones I'm actually shooting. I would be happy with that as well. And I would also be happy with having, clients with art directors as well. I mean, yeah, I would be happy to do all of that sort of thing.
so I think the fashion world and the commercial world is changing drastically with the mainstream acceptance of digital. Almost everybody's digital now. So the photography world has exploded in that sense that the barriers to entry have lessened greatly, which has been awesome for me because I probably wouldn't have gotten into it otherwise. That said, there's so many people that are chasing the notoriety as much as they are the income, and they're happy to sit at their desk jobs and have that be their income and then just shoot on the side. And the concept of having their image in a magazine and being able to go, hey, you can go to the bookstore and pick up my magazine, pick up, Vogue or, whatever off the shelf. There's so many people clamoring to do it for free that they have significantly lower budgets. And I feel like, and it's just an oversaturation thing. It's like, here in America, like the housing market just crashed like all the way through the basement floor a couple of years ago. And people were getting these $500,000 homes at $90,000 because the market was just oversaturated. And I think that we're seeing a little bit of the same, but it doesn't necessarily concern me because I also love the fact that the doors have been open and there are these people that are coming in. Like I saw this great blog of this little boy who was like 7 creating these incredible self-portraits of himself where he was photoshopped and like holding a pencil on a paper and he's like Thumbelina size and stuff like that. And I love that none of the things that people like your lecturers are saying are barriers to entry are in fact actually barriers to entry. That said, it sounds like you have very similar mindsets to me, and my business is totally based off of it's the business side of it is based off of a portrait studio, but the artistic side is totally based off of an art gallery artist. Like I put so much time and prep and thought into creating these grandiose kind of images because I'm at my happiest when I'm creating these concepts, but the client is not necessarily a a store or corporate client that they're providing models and stuff to advertise, or that you're doing these shoots for magazines. It's just usually they're just normal people. You know, they're people like you and me, and they're everything from college and university students to housewives to career women, and you know, and they come in and they do it because really it's just an adult version of dress up and playtime, and getting to disrobe all of those adult, you know, responsibilities that are being thrown on you in order to just get back in touch with who you are when you don't have to worry about what everybody else thinks you should be. So, I mean, and I do really well with that. Like my average client is spending somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 to come in and do a session here. So it's a good chunk of change, but it still gives me the ability to design everything exactly the way that I want it in terms of my studio. So obviously, you know, with all the time we've spent together, you can tell I'm totally introverted as well. But I would imagine that if you are, that being able to build your own studio space and being able to work with a core team of people that are people that you trust and feel comfortable with would greatly enhance your ability to work in that kind of environment without feeling uncomfortable or pushed beyond your comfort zone, which I think is something that you're struggling with a little bit right now. And the nice thing is that your art is fantastic. Like, you are hitting the mark. Most of the time that I see your images are the ones that are showing up in my newsfeed that I'm stopping and going, ooh, and I want to see what it is that you're doing. You have a handle on light, you have the handle on composition, you get your models to react in a way that the emotion and the expression is coming through to the viewer. Like, you're hitting all the major segues there as to what creates a powerful image. So if you can do that in an environment that you feel safe to open and spread your creative wings there, I think that we're really going to see you soar on an artistic level, and then that art is going to sell for you, and you're not going to have to go out and necessarily go fishing. You're just going to be able to go, this is my work, and people are going to come to you, which is much easier, because I think that part of the problem is that it's really unnerving when we have to go to someone and go, this is what I pour my heart and soul into, and this is what I create, and I would like to create that for you. And they go, no, you know, I don't think that's quite what I'm looking for, and I don't know that you're good enough to be in the galleries and stuff like that. Like, that's a form of rejection, and because we pour ourselves into our art, we feel personally rejected as much as, you know, what it is that we're making. So that whole fear goes out the window when they approach you first and go, oh my God, I love what you do. You know, then you go, okay, well, now we're on the same page. I'm awesome. Let's go from there. You know, which I totally think that you are. And I think, you know, I actually think that the ability to move beyond that is going to be a greater accomplishment for you with being in the Arcanum than artistic mastery, because you are going to school and you do have a good handle on it, and you're just naturally really talented. And I'm going to keep beating that into your head until you don't feel any sense of hesitation to go out and go, anybody that gets the chance to work with me is lucky. And I want you to give me your lecturer's email so that I can write them and tell them to stop messing with your head, because that's not good. Stop it. So.
Ooh, they might be able to outtalk you though.
We'll see. We'll see. So what's next? You're going to school. Is this your final semester?
Yep, it is. I'm so excited.
So when's that end for you? When's your finish line?
It ends sort of mid to end of November.
Okay. Now, are you working right now while you're going to school, or are you just focused on education right now?
Well, I mean, I have to create a major work in that 11 weeks that I have left, so I'll be working on that and assignments and everything, so I can't do too much else. I'm trying to, but yeah.
Okay, so, well, no, because that's good, because for a lot of people, especially if they're finding photography later, the difficulty comes in transitioning with, this is the job that I have that pays my bills and supports my life, and this is the job that I want to build my career and the rest of my life around, and there has to be that jump, but we also have to be smart about it. So if you're not tied into anything you don't want to be tied into as far as your career, then that means that when that end date hits, like, it's all you, girlfriend. Like, you can go in any
Oh,
direction you want.
do you mean like working as in like retail or like earning money somewhere?
Yeah.
No. Oh, right. Yeah, I am doing a couple of days a week at like just a retail job just to earn a bit of money. But
Okay.
I mean, you know, that's quite easy to get rid of once I finish at uni.
So is the concept that when you're done, you're gonna go pursue this full time? Is that the ambition?
Sort of. I am going next year to be, well, I'm saving up for London next year. So I need to have a job, but I won't have uni on the side to be thinking about while I'm uh, in my downtime. So I will be able to, shoot more. I'll be able to plan my own things. Hopefully, I'll still be writing for F stoppers as well. So, I mean, I just feel like I'm going to have a lot more time, even though I am going to be working a lot to save money. Uh, yeah, I should be able to sort out something to create my own work.
Okay, so that's right. I forgot that you do the F stoppers thing too. There's a couple of you guys like in on different things because Matt's doing the SLR lounge. So is that also something, are you interested in teaching as well and blogging? Like, what's your ideal life look like?
I really do enjoy the social media side of everything. I love how branding and everything works. I probably would have been better in marketing, but I yeah, I mean, I'm okay. Like, it's really great. F stoppers is more like just a really great thing to get me noticed. I know that sounds really shallow, but I mean, there's a lot of people on there, and me already putting out content, I'm starting to get a lot of followers already on Twitter. And people see my photos when I put them up on F stoppers in my profile, and I mean, all I'm doing at the moment is scouting reposts. So I mean, it's a lot of work to scout them, but I really don't have to write anything original.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just good to be out there.
I
And
don't
no,
think I don't think that
sorry,
it's shallow at all for you to take any opportunity that puts you in front of people, because the more people you're in front of, it's just a percentages game. If 1% of everybody that sees you is buying from you, whether that's, teaching, writing, or shooting, or whatever else, then being out in front of 1,000 people instead of 100 is a smart thing to do. Like, that's just good business. Don't let anybody ever, especially yourself, make you feel like doing that is in some way shallow or less than, or like, there's just trust, especially with yourself. Like, trust me, there are going to be plenty of other people to judge you. Don't do it yourself.
I try not to.
Okay. So I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say that I don't think I would go into teaching. I'm not much of a teacher, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, in 10 years, are you shooting full time? Is this what you love and want to build your career around?
Yes. In 5 years' time, I would love to be shooting. I would like to be, well, I mean, the ideal would be to be a well-known photographer, retoucher. At the moment, I'm aspiring towards people like Alexia Sinclair, Julia Kuzmenko, Miss Daniela,
Nice.
that sort of area, yeah.
She's definitely someone to be following, because when you're done the first 20 levels here and you get to level up again, then you could definitely, you know, continued training and see if we can get you in her cohort for the higher levels too, because I'm in hers now unofficially, sitting in as a master, and hers is ridiculous as well, and I love her work too. Which again is another reason that I love the Arcanum, because all of the masters hop in each other's and we play student and learn just as much as you guys do, which is good because then we all borrow from each other and come back and go, look at this great idea I have that I stole from Ron, and and we just we go back and forth on that. So I think that for you right now, you have a lot of possibilities open and your work is really good. So if you know that you're going to finish up school and then you know that you're going to go abroad and you're going to study and you have these things, that shooting is not a necessity for you as far as you know, work and putting food on the table kind of thing, then it gives you a lot more freedom. So, you know, my recommendation for you is to definitely just be building your portfolio until you look at it and go, I absolutely belong in the division with these people that I call mentor, because there's nothing better than that. Like, one of the absolute best things for me has always been when I follow people like Trey Ratcliffe and Jerry Giannis, and you know, like the people that are the top of their specific genres and industries, and they go, oh my God, I really love this photograph that you took. And I go, really? Like, it is just the best feeling in the world to know the people that you admire are admiring you. So, and it gets to the point where you can start to see that in your work, and it takes a little bit of time to like build that up. And again, like you said, not feel like you're being shallow or conceited or anything else, because you're in the presence of like these master artists that you admire. But I would just really work on just honing in on your craft and killing it, and just make sure that you get all of your lecturers' contact info so you can invite them to your gallery show. Because I do think that your work has the potential to be there. Like, I think it right now with you going to school and at the beginning of your mastery training here, like, you have so much potential to be exceptional that I'm seeing exceptional elements in you already right now. So I think that if we can build your work around that, that you're just going to put this out into the world and people are just going to sit in front of their screens, in front of one of your images, and just stare at them, you know, and not be able to look away, and just be visually just intoxicated by this imagery. And that's what we're looking for. And then I think you can pretty much have your pick of what you want to do with it, because there'll just be so much potency in that for people that you'll be able to go in whatever direction you want, and the people will follow you and buy from you in whatever medium you decide that you want to be at. And that's, like, for me, I can't think of a higher level of success, and I think that you absolutely have the potential to do that, to the point that you don't have to say a word to anyone. You can just put up the images and go, I'm the girl that makes this.
That would be my ideal, definitely. I would love to earn a lot of money, obviously, for starters, but have, like you said, visually intoxicating images. That is just the top of where I want to be. I mean, I'm really happy to begin getting experience with photographers as well. I mean, I'd love to go and even just assist a little bit in a bigger studio just to get a feel for it. But it's good to know that I seem to have potential. I mean, I feel like I do too. I feel like I do have the eye. I mean, I still see also my faults in my photographs, like, and in this critique, it's shown me that there are still things, obviously, that I need to look at and pay attention to. But definitely, I feel that I feel like I have the potential as well. But yeah, I would really. That's just my ideal, to become well known and to be seen as a well-rounded and an amazing photographer. That would be brilliant. And I'd like to travel with it. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, and and I totally see the ability for that, for you to be like, well, I'm going to go create this beautiful image like on the streets of London, and I have this epic concept to do this shoot in Thailand, and this is what I'm going to go do. And like, it's getting to the point now with the way that the world is and how technology bridges the gaps, obviously, because we're sitting here on what, like a 10-hour time difference right now, on opposite sides of the world, having a conversation about the excellence of your artistry, live in front of however many people want to view it, and the thousands of other apprentices in the Arcanum, to the point that someone will go, oh my God, I remember seeing her level 4 critique a couple of years ago when she thought that she was supposed to be an apprentice, and now she's, shooting these epic things, and she's got hundreds of thousands of people following her on social media just to see what she's going to post next. And the thing that's so tough is that I can already tell just by the way that you present it that what's in your way is your sense of struggle with yourself, because I can say that I see something exceptional and you can latch onto that because you know it. I know that you know it. I can see it in your face that you know that you have the eye, and you're still, it's so hard for people to just stand up and say that, because they feel like if they do that, that somehow is conceited or egotistical, and they don't want to come off that way. And you want to maintain this ability of being humble and and compassionate and being a good person, and you don't want to be that person that thinks that they're all that. But you have to understand the difference that being humble is not thinking less of yourself. It's just thinking of yourself less often than you are everything around you, and taking that into consideration as well. It's not like, it's not something that you have to build or you have to earn. I'm telling you as your master, with every fiber of my being, that you are a very talented photographer, and you have the potential to go as far as you want to go, period. So if we can get you to the point, and I want you to sit and I want you to rewatch this specific part of it, and you saying, I think I have the potential, because here's what you did. You went, well, I think that I had the potential, and that'd be great, and I'd like to, and you second guessed yourself. And there is absolutely no way that I should think higher of you than you do. Because if you don't see your own potential, and you don't see how exceptional your work is, and you don't see the power that you have to affect the world with your work and influence people and just have them fall all over themselves to be a piece of your art and to own a piece of your art and to view a piece of your art, how are you going to get anybody else to fall in love with it if you're not in love with it? And how are you going to get anybody else to just believe in that with every fiber of their being, that you're worth thousands of dollars, and flying across the country to have photographed their magazine cover, or having them invest thousands of dollars in a portrait session to be a part of your vision? If you can't stand up and go, absolutely, I am that good. Confidence is totally different than ego. And I'm telling you, if you say that while looking at your work, because your work will reaffirm that. Look at one of your images. If you can't look in the mirror and go, I absolutely deserve this. I'm working hard for this. I've studied hard. I've stayed up late. I have poured over my images. I have torn my work apart. I sat through a critique where JLark's tore my work apart. I'm doing university and studying privately in the Arcanum. I want this. And if you can't say it with that conviction, then say it instead of looking at yourself. Look at your art and let your art reaffirm that for you, because I guarantee you go look at that photo of that girl in that red cloak, she's saying that you deserve it.
Yes, she is. I'm awesome. I can do this.
Good. Better. So you survived your first critique.
Yay!
Yay!
Go me! Yes. No, that was great. That was brilliant. Thank you so much for that.
Joni and Ava, they're rooting for you to cry too, because they both did, because they're sissies.
I don't cry. Nope.
um, so we're through. You're up to level 5. You're through your half sphere. I'm gonna go level you up after this. So
Do
the
I get a new name?
you do get a new name. I'm gonna work on that. I haven't decided what it is yet. I'm gonna put some thought into it. It's gonna be epic. But the next couple of levels, we're really gonna start honing in, and then the whole second sphere is about building that collection of works. So take a deep breath, and you survived, and I will see you again at level 9.
Awesome. Thank you, Jess.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, girlfriend.
Bye.